Today, I want to break down two blends that everyone keeps asking me about, M-Fuel and Axton Aminos' new GLP-3R and GLP-2T blend, because these aren't just weight loss blends. They approach metabolism from completely different directions. So let's start with M-Fuel. M-Fuel stands for Metabolic Fuel, and that name tells you exactly what this blend was designed to support. When people struggle to lose fat, the conversation usually revolves around eating less, controlling cravings, and cutting calories. That's why I love GLP-3. Those things matter, but metabolism is much more about the appetite. It's also about what your cells are doing with the fuel that you give them. Are they producing energy efficiently? Are they handling glucose effectively? I see so many that come to me that they are not handling glucose. Are the mitochondria, the tiny little power plants inside your cells, functioning the way that they should? And is the body using stored fat for energy, or is it fighting to hold on to it? That is where M-Fuel enters the conversation. M-Fuel combines three very different compounds. You guys have heard of NAD, NAD+, MOTS-C, and 5-amino 1-MQ. Each one targets a different part of the metabolic picture. So let's begin with NAD, NAD+. Think of NAD+ as part of your body's cellular power system. Your cells need it to convert the food that you eat into usable energy. And without enough cellular energy, everything can feel harder. Training, recovery, mental focus, and maintaining a healthy metabolism. NAD is also very closely connected to mitochondrial function. Those mitochondria determine how efficiently your cells produce energy from carbohydrates and fats. So the NAD plus portion of M-Fuel is there to support the energy side of the equation. Next, we have MOTS-C. Everybody loves MOTS-C, and it's sometimes described as mitochondrial signaling peptide. In simple terms, it appears to help the mitochondria communicate with the rest of the body. It has been studied for its potential role in metabolic flexibility, glucose utilization, insulin sensitivity, which I see a lot of you struggle with, and exercise performance. Metabolic flexibility means your body can move more efficiently between using carbohydrates and using fat for fuel. That flexibility matters. A healthy metabolism shouldn't be stuck in one gear. It should be able to use glucose when glucose is available and tap into stored fat when additional energy is needed. MOTS-C research is especially interesting because it connects metabolism with movement. Exercise itself appears to influence MOTS-C signaling, which is one of the reasons researchers are so interested in its relationship with physical performance and healthy aging. Then we have 5-amino 1-MQ. Despite often being discussed alongside peptides, 5-amino 1-MQ is technically a small molecule. Its main target is an enzyme called NNMT. Here's the simplest way to understand it. NNMT is involved in how the body manages NAD+ and cellular energy. When NNMT activity becomes elevated, it may encourage the body to store energy rather than use it efficiently. 5-amino 1-MQ is being researched for its ability to inhibit or slow down that enzyme. The goal is to potentially help preserve more of the materials the body uses to support NAD+, energy production, and fat metabolism. So M-Fuel brings together three metabolic conversations. NAD+ supports cellular energy, MOTS-C supports mitochondrial communication and metabolic flexibility, and 5-amino 1-MQ targets an enzyme associated with energy storage and fat metabolism. That is why M-Fuel is different from something designed primarily to suppress appetite. It isn't trying to make you forget to eat. It is simply designed around the cellular machinery that determines how your body processes and uses energy. Now, let's talk about something that I am so excited about. It's the second blend, the new Axton Aminos combination of GLP-3R and GLP-2T. First, a quick translation to those names. So, GLP-2T is our shorthand for the dual pathway tirzepatide side of the blend. GLP-3R is our shorthand for the triple pathway retatrutide side. The 2 and the 3 describe the number of metabolic receptor pathways involved, not simply the strength of the product. Tirzepatide works through 2 major pathways, GLP-1 and GIP. Those signals are associated with appetite, fullness, food noise, glucose control, and how the body responds to a meal. Retatrutide takes that concept one step further by targeting 3 pathways, GLP-1, GIP, and glucagon. GLP-1 helps communicate fullness and can slow how quickly food leaves the stomach. GIP participates in insulin signaling and the body's response to food. Glucagon adds another metabolic component connected with stored energy and energy expenditure. That third pathway is what makes retatrutide research so interesting. It isn't focused only on making someone less hungry. Researchers are also looking at how it may influence the energy expenditure side of weight management. So what is the idea behind putting the 2 GLP-3R and GLP-2T compounds together? It is an attempt to approach several of the biggest barriers to fat loss at the same time. Food noise. Everybody has it. Appetite. Feeling satisfied after eating. Glucose handling. Insulin response. And energy expenditure. These are the huge compounds that we're researching. But this is also where I want everyone to understand something important. More pathways do not automatically mean someone needs more product. Retatrutide already includes activity at the GLP-1 and GIP pathways that tirzepatide targets. That means there is a little bit of an overlap. This is not a more is always better conversation. Individual response, tolerance, nutrition, hydration, muscle mass, and the amount of weight someone actually needs to lose all matter. That's why I always say there is no one size fits all. Everybody responds differently. The goal should never be to destroy your appetite or see how little food that you can survive on. The goal is controlled appetite, better food choices, adequate protein, healthy glucose management, and sustainable fat loss while protecting lean muscle. Now, how does this connect back to MFuel? I want you to think of it as approaching the same goal from 2 different directions. The GLP blend focuses more on signals involving appetite, fullness, glucose, and energy balance, where your MFuel, it focuses more on cellular energy, mitochondrial, and metabolic flexibility, and that NNMT pathway. So one works more from signaling and appetite side. The other is designed around cellular energy side. That is why people are so interested in researching them together. So instead of looking at fat loss as nothing more than eat less, move more, we are looking at the entire metabolic picture. So what is happening with appetite? What is actually happening with blood sugar? What is happening with insulin? You would not believe the amount of insulin resistance I see in my practice. What is happening inside the mitochondria? Is there brain fog? Do you feel like there's a curtain over that needs to be pulled up? And what is the body actually doing with the energy that it receives? But remember, no blend replaces the foundation. So we still need our protein. You still need to be doing resistance training, especially as we age. You still need hydration and electrolytes, especially taking a GLP. Make sure you're drinking enough fluids, and you still need sleep, and you still need enough nutrition to maintain muscle, hormones, and normal body function. These compounds should never become an excuse to stop eating. It should not be an excuse to stop your strength training or chase the lowest number possible on the scale. That is not what our goal is. The real goal is better body composition, less visceral fat, better metabolic health, and more energy and results that can actually be maintained. So in the simplest terms, MFuel means metabolic fuel. It combines the NAD+, the MOTS-C, and 5-amino 1-MQ. to target cellular energy, mitochondrial signaling, and metabolic flexibility, and of course that NNMT pathway. The GLP-3, I'm exhausted from talking to you guys. The GLP-3R and the GLP-2T, it blends targets appetite, fullness, glucose response, food noise, energy balance through overlapping dual and triple receptor pathways. They are two very different approaches to the metabolic equation, and that is exactly why these blends are getting so much attention. If you've ever been wondering what these blends are, how their ingredients differ, or which research pathway makes the most sense for your goals, leave your questions below. I'll keep breaking these down every week, the science in plain language, so you understand what each compound is designed to do and why the combination matters. Thanks.